Ciara Holness, so she cooks all your food, and most of her success in authorship came from writing Harry Potter fan fiction, which, despite not being smutty enough to be adapted into a massively distributed novel for older ladies, was quite well received. Ciara Holness.
Okay, so yeah, if you just ordered food, it's gonna be just fine. She's whispering to me again, in that soft, hazy voice that slips down my spine like water running down glass. Her words have the peculiar quality of inspiring wishful thinking, of seeding hope where it shouldn't grow. I want to believe in what she says, in the way her eyes light up when she speaks, and that sweet chime of delight in her voice that threatens to infect me. But eventually the hope fades, and in its absence the world is emptier and more hollow than it had been. Simple sorrows become tragedy. I tell myself that she won't recover, but I can't convince myself. Behind the words and senseless stories that spill out of her, the girl that once belonged in those eyes is visible and real, and at times so present that I think for one fleeting moment she's going to turn to me and tell me she's sorry and that she remembers now, and these days without clocks will melt into my recollections a fitful dream. I think it's a waste of time to wait for her, but time is mine to waste. It's deceptive how little she's changed. The accident, her injury, made her words strange to me. Like she was thrown partway out of this world and now lives with one hand reaching through dark doorways, grasping onto another, more fantastic place. Here, she's lying half in shadow, a sharp angle of sunlight slicing across her face and bleaching her dark hair to rich copper. When she smiles, it overtakes her face, angling it and sharpening the edges wildly. And when she doesn't, her mouth settles into a gentle downward curve, and I wonder if the sorrow was real, if her face was simply assembled for some melancholy purpose. There's a kind of selfish joy in imagining that I could let her go. The same reckless temptation you might feel standing at the edge of a cliffside, the primal human urge to plummet. She won't leave me. I don't think she knows how little choice either of us have in the matter. I like to talk to her about familiar things. I feed her memories, road maps of places already abandoned for better prospects. I tell her about perfectly ordinary days, the kind that seem distant now and stranger than memory. I tell her about herself, introducing her to the girl who lives in my memory, the two are strangers now. I remember with vivid clarity the way the muscles in her wrists would tense when she was afraid, and the way the cloudless blue skies made her restless, and restlessness made her bitter, and that she seemed to me like a pattern of shadow and sifting light beneath a sun-dappled tree in summer. Now here she is, threads remaining, strained and bare but still clinging on, the unnecessary but treasured thing I might allow to slip from my fingers but cannot at the last possible second fully release. We are the last two remaining pieces of a puzzle, fitting perfectly together but still woefully incomplete. I miss her. I missed her even when she was whole beside me. Longing crept into me in the times that she was absent and grew over my bones the way English ivy grows over old brick and becomes fundamental to its structural survival. I loved her. Now I can't say whether I do or not. Love seems inadequate and irrelevant, a word for two bodies and two minds and two hearts. She just seeps into me. She's inseparable. She's like water, finding the weakness in stone and trickling in. I don't know how much time has passed since I last went outside. I don't know if any time has passed at all. Maybe this is it, this snow globe moment left unshaken and still. I wonder if it is possible to live in a moment the world has left behind, in a pocket of space and time that forgot to turn and take forward. I don't know. Can't say whether I've stopped moving or the world has. It doesn't seem to matter. Either way, it gets further away. I can see her words coming before she says anything, and hatred boils up in me. My hand tenses briefly, and I release it before I have a chance to give motion to what I can feel in my blood, a chance to grab her and hold her and demand to know why she has left me in this unbearable state of unknowing. The line is tissue thin between the energy of it in my fingertips and the action. can feel her skin against mine as though I've already let go of my restraint, but instead, I'm holding my hands in front of my face, studying them to confirm that they have not acted without me. The lines on my palms look the same as they always did, except maybe emptier of fortune. She opens her mouth and her words are so gentle I want to scream until the sound tears its way out of my throat and exists on its own, a thing born into bloody, raging existence. She tells me that she misses me, that it's too quiet. She promises me that it's beautiful whatever she sees in that warped, bent place in her mind. The shadow that lays across her face creeps further over her as the sun retreats. I am filled with sudden, paralyzing terror of watching her fade into that darkness. She looks at me, her gaze familiar and feverish, and the dimming sunlight glows golden on her cheekbones, and I know I can't keep it there. She smiles. I know what comes next, and I think of all the times I've wanted to silence her, and still I don't move. She asks me to come with her. The sound shivers its way across my throat. I feel sick and hungry, and I remind myself that she is not here. She is bright and real, but she is not here. I swallow, trying to drown the nauseated feeling, but it doesn't kill the hunger. Stop, I tell her sharply, turning my head away. I'm afraid of having her words coiling in my head. Her very presence is a lie that part of me wants to force myself to believe. What's the difference? Reality, I tell myself, truth. The truth has no appeal to me anymore, but I can't let it go. I never could. I hold on for both of us for the possibility that she can come back. Maybe that is my delusion, but it is looking me in the eye and smiling, and I know what she's doing. She lingers. It's not her fault, but the combination of desire and disgust makes my stomach turn. The injustice of it, the furious mantra of how impossibly unfair it is, almost chokes me. I can feel her watching, and I'm turning back to her before I know I have moved. It isn't real, don't you know? None of it is real. You aren't real. She presses her lips together, silent for the moment, sorrow settling in the curve of her face and sleeping there. We lay in silence for an amount of time I have no interest in or way of measuring, and the world continues drifting further away. There's a certain irony in the neat structure of time divided into before and after. There was no sense in the two of us, in the way we existed as things that took up more than their allocated space in one another's heads. There was nothing neat about it. We were connected together at random points and tangled into one knotted, demanding presence. Now time and reality have been knocked loose, words slipping off the page and bleeding onto others. I think I might be losing my mind. I cling to memory, to images of ordinary days, of supermarkets and parking tickets, and the bitter sweetness of average, unexceptional human life. But these things are only pictures in my head like everything else. And from time to time I wonder, did it happen? Am I remembering the life I've lived or the story of one? The traitorous uncertainty bores into me, it's inescapable. Once the question has crawled like an insect into my mind, I can't squeeze it into non-existence. The longer I hold on to her, the looser I grip on sanity. I'm beginning to suspect I will lose both. It's hard to hold on to fact and knowledge when it means nothing to you. You begin to question why it matters. Whether you're dreaming or awake, sane or delusional, real, imaginary, the product of some meaningless coincidence or the miraculous creation of a higher being, somewhere a world will turn and time will pass with or without you. You begin to realize that the only distinction between what is real and what is fantasy is belief, that all that anchors you is the picture in your head of what should be. You begin to wonder if you really know anything at all. I wish so fiercely that my throat would throb with the need to make my longing into action, that I could tell her the truth, or what remains of it. But I can't form the words in my head into sounds. My lips will not shape them. These inadequate manipulations of vibration in the air cannot make her understand. We are so elegantly suited in our ineptitude. With her ears that will not hear the truth, and my eyes that will not let me see the comfort of the lie. What good would it do to tell her that she's dead? She's not alive to hear it. She can't know that her presence here is killing me, that her gentle, relentless hold will drag me to the grave with her. It's not her fault that she doesn't hear, and that the breath that slipped out of her has formed words in my fevered mind. From time to time I wonder then if that is the answer, to sink into non-being, to let go of the world and the suffocating weight of it. There is a loneliness here that lacks the satisfaction of the agony that might confirm that I'm still wholly alive. I know she's dead. I know, but I hear her. This, I think, must be true insanity, to know the impossibility of one's senses, to know the deception of your own mind. It would be a comfort to sink into uncaring, but I don't think I'm capable. My rational mind will not relinquish its grip so easily. I am too sane to forget that hearing her is madness. She's the keeper of the past, and the past that keeps me. She's gone, and here she is. The truth will not set either of us free. The lie is so tempting and so easy. I remember her voice, the minuscule movements of the muscle in her face. It is so clear to me that in the moments my head is clearest, I must wonder what it is I am telling myself with these delusions. I'm trying to find meaning in this waking dream. I cannot keep from concluding that some part of me wants to go with her. I told myself if I waited, she could come back, that surely her words in my head were some sign, that if either of us goes anywhere, it will be me. I know that. I've known it since the first traitorous whisper promised a sweet escape in the illusion of her smile. And sometimes I think that I will go on, that it's the only possible escape from this strange drifting. I think, that's what she wants. No! That's what I want. No, it just is. And then she turns to me again, and the moment of clarity is blurred, and I wonder why she lies, why she stays and weaves these dreams at all. She will keep me here. She will keep me laying beside her, and she will not simply be still and allow me to let her go. She will not fade into a hollow in my head or an ache in the channels of my spine the way she should. She will linger just enough. And I know it will be the end of me. Death hasn't changed her at all. She still knows how to captivate me, how to keep me waiting for her. I almost laugh at the thought. But I know the laughter would become a howl of frustration. I'm choking on my own bitter admiration of her, this girl who reaches with me with the stiff determination of mortality. Maybe it's death itself that strains its fingertips toward my face. I don't know. I don't much care. If death is clever enough to wear her skin, it's already beaten me. Yes, I anticipate her before she starts weaving those lethal visions again. Yes, I know. Doorways and lifetimes, my darling, and the beauty of it all. I reach for her, but I still can't bring myself to let my fingertips brush against her. I'm certain the coldness of her skin would drive me insane, or maybe worse, she will have absorbed the golden sunlight, and she will feel warm against my touch again, and surely I will be lost. By all means, tell me more, darling. Give me a reason. Give me enough reason to do it, and you'll have what you want. I spread my hands gleefully and wait, but she lays still and silent now, and the energy in me deflates as quickly as it came. Weariness rushes in to cool quietly in its place. For so long I waited, wondering if she could return to me whole as she used to be, if she would. At least, I remind myself, at least we're together. The hollow pain between my lungs was dulled, and the quiet settled as long as she was near me. As long as I could trace the sharp angle of her shoulder blades catching shadows on gray morning. And I think maybe with time I'll learn to forgive her for both her treacherous words and her silences. Leaving her now has begun to seem unthinkable. There's too much to lose, not just the life I had, but the life I'll never see in her. I'll never watch the lines deepen on her face. We were supposed to settle in this life and one another. We were supposed to wear the years like old, comfortable clothes. No, I won't leave. I lay beside her and I wait. She'll come back to me sooner or later with half-remembered words. The darkness settles over us both. It is her shroud and my companion. If I am still enough, I imagine the heartbeat I can hear is hers. Annabelle's. Beyond that, I think I hear her whisper again.